Right.
Okay, you can.
It's getting my ears.
Getting your ears.
Now you'll hear all about it.
Hey, Bob.
Hi. Yeah,
It's Keith.
yeah, Kate. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm driving, so I'm going to just mute myself till I get home here in a minute, but I thought I'd say hello.
Okay.
Hi, Keith.
Hey, how's it going?
Magnificent. Ask anyone.
Yeah, good. Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm driving, so I'm just going to make myself
Hey,
invisible.
just look at the road and enjoy your drive.
I'll be home. I'll be home in about 5 minutes. So.
Okay.
All right. Good to see y'all.
Well, the floor is yours, Bob.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Here's what the subject is. Non-duality. One without a second. Not two. Only that. And it's all about you. But you is the I am. To think of it. I am that. That's all there is. Only that. And where do you begin? In the beginning. When does it begin? No beginning, no end. Time is just another concept. Past, present, and future. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened. And the spontaneous presence is constantly transient, is right here, right now. And where is here and where is now? Well, you've got to go into so-called time to divide it. It's always here. Always this ever fresh awareness of presence or presence awareness. And that is this immediacy. We've been caught up in the belief we are individual, we're person, we're separate entities. And that's caused all sorts of problems. And if it's recognized as one, it's not to be separate. It's all the one essence or intelligence energy or activity of knowing or whatever other labels you like to put on. Right here, right now, there is this presence awareness. You can't, each and every one of you, say the same thing. And you're here, and now it's not the there, not the here and now, but it is right here. Seemingly different concepts. But we can't separate it, though it appears to be separate. A phenomenal manifestation. The definition of phenomena is that which appears to be. All seemingly so. But can I negate this presence awareness? I can't. I can't negate the absolute knowing that I am. I am is not what this body mind idea is. I am is a sense of knowing and being right here, right now. Ever fresh presence awareness. Nothing else. After a bit of recognition and looking into it, it becomes simple and easy. All sorts of other concepts, ideas, and images can be going on in the background. But where before they were believed in and brought into the presence and all sorts of reinforcing numbers going on with it. Now, that was which was in the forefront, goes to where the presence awareness was before, or the awareness of it. And the ultimate absolute awareness is much cognized or recognized much more easily. And the recognition comes up. If that awareness wasn't there, what could be said about anything or knowing about anything? And it's the awareness which is the life, it's the presence, it's the beingness, it's the knowingness. What is knowing? Known? I am. I can't negate it. Can't say I am not. And I can't really say, put into words what the I am is either. The knowing that it is so is spontaneously happening. And all the concepts, thoughts, beliefs, and ideas and images that appear on that, or in that, or presence awareness. Rely on that sense of presence. There can be nothing at all without that beingness, the knowingness, the life essence. The essence of that life. The subtle, silent, ever fresh being and knowing that I am. And the problems used to be there, causing considerable goings on happen. No longer pronounce into the foreground like they used. And along with the recognition of all those concepts like fear, unhappiness, depression, guilt, shame, remorse, jealousy, envy, anger. Some of those words come out here, they're not taken any further. Left as they are, and they fall back into the silence again, into the stillness. That's enjoyed. And as you know, it's nice to be in that quiet, still space. Cars going by here, sounds, making noise, seemingly obscuring it. These thoughts and words coming up, seemingly obscuring it. Pause. And there's nothing to say, nothing to do. But hearing is happening, seeing is happening, words are coming out, breathing, all sorts of functioning is going on here. And what we call there, outside, inside. Can't separate it. Like you used to divide and separate it. It's just all the one essence. And that is how it is, that is why it is. That's how it always will be. But the saying comes up, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. All those beliefs that were going on before, that all these, this is going to happen and that, they lose their sting. pull the sting out, and you won't get bitten in the right way without anyone. I don't know what I'm rambling on about here. Noise is coming out. I don't care. You don't have to either. You don't have to put up with it. It's not new. It's there in all the ancient scriptures and ancient texts. The things have been added to it over the years. Other realizations have added to it and pointed out slightly differently. But it's still the same reality, the same truth as it always was. And the amazing recognition of change that comes about to what it was after years of taking on the words and believing in the words without question, and all the problems it caused. Now, in its emptiness, in its stillness, in its silence, entirely different to what it was a few years ago. And it's enjoyable, happy to be, loving to be. And they used to say, they hear these things, what the hell are they talking about? It's obvious. Simple. Like, anyway, the spell's getting shorter and shorter, but it'll give you all a chance to open up and tell us about it. Because what is there and understood can be passed on. And that's the necessary part. We can had passed on to us the words, the schools and all the teachings about this, that and the other. So many things which have been reinforced. And there are many things that point to it. And you have had tastes of it. Or you wouldn't be sitting here. They're listening to this. If they recognize and realize that things weren't going the way they were going as they were. And they didn't have to be. They could be better. Didn't have to be in all the fear, depression and anger. Didn't have to be that. It's saying that life is unafraid and free. Unafraid and free. No fear in it. And it's ever fresh, ever present. It's silence, stillness. It's natural, spontaneous. And you are that. You, me, and everything else is only that. So grasp it. Head around you. Be what you are, not what you appear to be. As I told us way back then, I am that I am. That ordinary, ever-present I amness, which is representing the sense of presence in the word. I am that. And that's all that the I am is that. Not some conceptual, believed in idea, but that which is. And what is right now? You and I and everything else is that. Again, be what you are, not what you believe yourself to be or pretend to be. Satchitananda, being, knowing, and loving to be. Have a look, aren't you being right now? Of course you are. Aren't you knowing that I am? Of course, knowing. Isn't that something to be happy about? And there it is, being, knowing, and loving to be. Already there. It's already what you are. Don't get into it. Tell us all about it.
So folks, I think Bob can speak for himself, but I think he likes it a lot more when we're participating and contributing to the meeting. Is after he's done his spiel. I think what makes it really fun for him is when we demonstrate that we've been listening and we can, maybe explain some of this from our own perspective so that maybe we could pass it on and share it.
I would like to contribute.
Sorry?
I would like to contribute. It's Elena.
Good. Thank you.
Yay. So it's not the pressure, Julia, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't mean to pressure anyone, but just saying.
No. I actually, I noticed something took place a couple of days ago, and I thought I was doing so well, and I noticed how fast the me latches on and how it starts blaming itself and regretting and thinking that it should have been another way. And I just kind of had a question if anybody else feels the same and kind of ever has been thrown back and to like feeling like you're the me and just feeling sad about it, because I kind of like was thrown off and now I feel a little bit upset and I'm not sure what I should do, or there's nothing to do, right?
I have a little story. I've been coming to Bob's these things for maybe about a year and a half. And one of the things that often comes up in every meeting is a saying that Bob has where he says, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it? And when I first heard that, I said, oh yeah, sure, I understand that. It's all about the present moment, of course. So where I live, it's not a rural area, but there's some woods nearby. And for the longest time, it's been very peaceful. But I guess because of developments, uh, in the last 5 years, every so often, maybe we'll say once a month, you'll hear some screams coming from the woods. And as my neighbor puts it, who's killing who out there? And I don't totally understand that life lives off life, but it always kind of pricks me in a way that because I always feel I know something out there is suffering, and I'm helpless to do anything about it. But that passes. But about a month ago, uh, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm awakened by this horrendous screaming outside that seemed to last forever. But it finally subsided. And as I tossed and turned for the rest of my sleep, going in and out of sleep, I struggled with that feeling. So that by the time I woke up, my mind had decided to throw a party, invite all the ills and suffering to attend, so that in the next couple hours I was kind of feeling kind of low. But luckily, a sailor named Bob showed up and saw that I was drowning in a sea of distress and threw me a life preserver. And on that life preserver was written, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it. And once that happened, all the participants of the party disappeared, and I was left in the present moments. And I remember last week, Julia talked about a painting that she had in her house, I think by Jim Carrey, has somebody behind, I don't know if it's him behind bars or just a person behind bars. And so now that I have this, I now have a deeper feeling for this saying that Bob has often spoken about. And I kind of feel like I carry with me this get out of jail free card out of my self-imposed prison.
Carl,
So-
I'm just wondering if you ever thought maybe all that screaming were the feral cats in your neighborhood fighting.
It could be anything. I mean, could be cats. There's foxes out there. There's something going on, and
The
that's
snake in the rope.
Yeah. But I got to thank Bob for that. I mean, something so simple and but so powerful, and I thank you very much for giving that to me. So
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
It was that same life jacket was thrown here too. I haven't worn it out yet.
yeah.
A lot of other people can grasp it also. Good on you.
Well, may I ask you, I'm just curious in relationship to what Julia said, is your happiness or enjoyment contingent upon how we show up at the meetings?
Are you asking Bob?
Yeah,
Oh, I say you can't say it is, you can't say it everything, you know, we can latch on to anything at all now.
Yeah.
Where before it might have been Yeah. It's as it is.
Yeah.
I don't think his happiness is contingent upon. I just think that it's like, well, what makes these meetings quite unique and Bob quite unique is that he is encouraging us to, discuss this and share this from our experiences. Whereas you can go to, like, I don't know, I've seen other people other than Bob, and I've never seen anybody else just say, well, there's I'm that, but you could become that. It's like, it's kind of the sense I get from them. Like, yeah, well, yeah, you don't talk, I'm talking here. You know what I mean? This is a unique uh gift that we have here, in that he's encouraging us to get out and share. And I just think that, well, I could be wrong. It happens once a year, but he's fine no matter what. But it takes some of the fun out of it for him if he's doing all the talking, and then we like just kind of, I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Bob. I could be wrong. It happens once a year. Today could be the day. But it kills some of the fun of what he's doing if we just sit back and don't share and contribute as well. And so we may have to end the meetings earlier, because if we have nothing to say, then okay, well, then we can just be in stillness on our own.
No, 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 no. There is great inspiration and great energy in silent satsang. So there's no need to fill this with this. Every great teacher teaches in silence. So enjoy.
Elena, one thing that I would say in relationship to, would you express your the concern that you had one more time?
Who, me?
Elena. Elena, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, will
Yes.
you mind expressing your concern one more time?
Oh yes, sure. It's just I thought I was doing so well with like I was in kind of like peace mode where nothing would phase me, and then something happened and it just threw me back into as if I never even began the search, right? Which I didn't, I understand, but in my whole issue is that it latched on, that event latched on to me so bad that it was it's like a horrible feeling, and it's still going on. And what I of course try to do is habitually is to try to get rid of it because it feels awful, but I know that I can't. And the more that I try to get rid of it, the further it persists. But I was just hoping that maybe folks have gone through something like this and they have something to offer up, whereas in like, because I try to, like, all that comes up is that there's no you, but it's not very helpful.
Well,
You have to
one
go ahead.
thing that occurs when you're speaking right now is that I think one of the things that sometimes happens is some manifestation will occur, like the appearance of the me, and there will be an idea that that means something, that
Yes.
means fucked up, or that means you're a failure, or that means
That's
something
exactly
bad
what it came
rather
up.
than
Yeah.
something good. And the tendency to imagine that the peaceful times, you've gotten it right and you're squared away and you're on track. But the truth is that these energies, they come and they go, and they come and they go. And and that's just how it is. They don't, when they do arise, when something comes through, it doesn't mean anything. It's just what's happening. It's just the appearance of what's happening. You're completely innocent.
Well, thank you so much. That makes me feel
Can I
better.
offer something that has helped me? Oh no, somebody else. Go ahead. Yeah, who somebody else was going to.
I'll just add that whenever some strong feeling is coming up, whether it's positive or negative, the way out of it is through it. So you are greater than your feelings, you are greater than your fears. All these things, they come and they go. Just remain focused on present moment awareness, and all these things, whether enjoyable or unpleasant, will come and go. That's all.
Beautiful. These
Thank
things
you so
come,
much.
coming through. That's what yes, you
The
didn't
three,
say that. Well, that's
the
good.
three magic words, this too shall pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have that tattooed on my wrist, and I don't look at it hard enough, I guess.
Yeah, that happens with everyone, right? That these this stuff comes up and we start chasing it, and the more you think about it, the stronger it feels like it has you around the throat, or it's the stronger hold it has on you, the more energy you give to it by focusing on it.
Yeah.
But if you see it with dispassion, if you're able to see it with dispassion from whatever that is, if you're able to see that it's not you, it's just something that's happening, then it's just going to pass on its own.
Yeah, good.
Bob, why does the ego grasp?
That's the function of it, isn't it?
It can't survive in the present moment, can it?
No, there's no such thing as an ego. Just a conceptual image. Yeah.
Right.
But the one before that, the more anything instance, the more you talk and think about it, the further away you wander from the truth. Stop talking and thinking, and there's nothing you will not be able to know.
Right.
We start putting more concepts onto the non-conceptual.
I was going to add that guilt and pride are two faces of the same coin. The fact that we think that we're the doers of what's happening. So, we feel that it's okay to feel proud of what we've achieved. At the same time, it's not okay to feel guilt for when things go wrong. So in the same way that we have to somehow relax with the guilt, we have to find some relaxation with the pride as well, and realize we're not the doer of the good either. That's happening through us.
This is beautiful.
Because a lot of people have conflicted emotions about guilt, but not about pride. It's okay to feel proud. But it's not okay to feel guilty, right?
Yeah. We're even encouraged to feel pride.
That's right. Especially in America, huh?
Right.
You say it's strong for pride, yay.
Yeah, proud to be American.
These are just diversions.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're diversions. Yeah.
Same concept of being the doer of what is happening.
Yeah, I definitely thought I had that like a good grasp on that, but I guess I do not. It's funny. Julia, you were going to offer something that works for you.
I love what everyone else added about really just seeing that there's, the doer is just a thought. And on top of that, it may be helpful to, if that's what's showing up anyway, like thoughts or feelings, and you're trying to like, okay, well, I'm questioning it and I'm still feeling like crap. Yeah, whatever. Then allow that to be and stay present with that, but in here instead of maybe up here, if you can just stay here and just allow yourself to be lovingly compassionate with whatever is showing up, whether it's the guilt or sadness or fear or anger or frustration or whatever. And if you just stay with that without trying to change it, correct it, fix it, have it be different. If it could have been different, it would have. If you could just stay here and just allow this to just show up as it does, to the degree that it's fully allowed, welcomed, it moves on. You know, I think that when we're in resistance, we keep it. I like the Carl Jung quote, what you resist persists. So if you've got man, you know, doing it again, you know, and now I'm beating myself up and now I'm resisting what I did and now I did it and now I'm resisting it more. And we're keeping that. Does that make sense? At least feels to me, in my experience, when I am, I don't know, I'm just thinking of something Kat said that just was so helpful. It's coming up again. When my cat died, and I was just feeling sad. She wasn't trying to change my sadness or anything, but she said to me, can you be grateful for your sadness? Because without it, you wouldn't know joy. And I was like, wow. That one, like, oh my God. And you know what happened? She just died. Like, I loved her. She was 19 years old. I didn't,
Wow.
And I got to tell you, I was just left with gratitude. There was this sadness was just, in this gratitude for even the sadness.
But was it you that was doing anything that was allowing?
No, there wasn't there. Nobody did shit. It was just, I think that pointer though, of being lovingly present with your current experience. Maybe
Something
it's not a
resonates
non-dual thing.
and then things are happening.
Sorry?
Something resonates maybe from a message, from a communication, and then things are happening.
Yeah.
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 Or not.
Bob, Bob, when you say those things about like how your life, you have a lot of well-being, it sounds like you have the things that might have riled you up before don't rile you up in the same way or whatever. Like, you're not saying that because you're telling people they should somehow grasp that conceptually and try to imitate that. I mean, you're not saying you did that. You're just saying that happened somehow, right? Yeah, because I think some idea, like having a conceptual idea of what it looks like, I think that's part of really what makes it more funky in a lot of ways, is some idea that, oh, it looks like this, and if I'm not fitting into that, then I'm not doing it right. But really, as far as I can tell, I mean, this, you are that, is all ways. It shows up in every possible way in existence, right? I mean,
just as it is.
yeah, just as it
Yeah.
is. And I don't know, the pointer where you say leave it as it is, I mean, there's going to be times where life is just going to kick our ass, across the stadium. I mean, that's just how it is. No pointer's going to work. No, nothing's going to work. And that pointer that comes where it's leave it as it is also, is really powerful in a way, because there isn't anything to do, really. I mean,
All
anyway.
you can do is watch your mind. All you can do is watch it happen. Watch what's happening, right? You can just watch what's happening. That's all you can really do.
Well, who is the you that's watching, Keith?
Yeah, that's good. That's the question I've been reading about. I have something I wanted to mention, actually. I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. I read this in the Sargadatta. He says, be conscious of yourself, watch your mind, give it your full attention. Don't look for quick results. There may be none within your noticing. Unknown to you, your psyche will undergo a change. There will be more clarity in your thinking, charity in your feeling, purity in your behavior. You need not aim at these. You will witness the change all the same. For what you are now is the result of inattention, and what you become will be the fruit of attention. So he's talking about attention.
That's beautiful.
Actually, I'd like to ask Bob. Bob, do you have anything to say about that, or say about that?
What he's saying, leave it as it is, and it grows by itself.
Mm-hmm.
He's pointing out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Once you get the taste of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It keeps bringing it up, cognizing emptiness.
I just would like to go back to what Julia said about experiencing joy, sadness, so you don't expect. So I'm just thinking, do we have to experience the opposite in order to experience joy, in order to experience what the opposite is? I'm just thinking.
I don't think I'm talking about experiencing the opposite. When you're saying being grateful for your sadness, you're experiencing it fully. You're saying, yeah, this is perfect. I'm fine with this. And let's just dive in and feel it as much as you do. You know, I'm not trying to experience an opposite, but but it was a pointing that everything does appear in opposites. It all shows up seemingly in opposites. It appears that way. And you wouldn't have the sadness if you didn't, I mean, you wouldn't have the joy if you didn't have the sadness. So if sadness is showing up, then let it show up. And then you just allow yourself to feel sad as much as you do. In fact, bring it on. See if you can feel even more sad. Go for it. You know, and I think that if it is what somebody else here was saying about just, you got to move through it. You have to allow it, just welcoming it, just going, you know, and that's leaving it unaltered, unmodified, and uncorrected to me. You know, there is no me, but you know what I mean. I don't know how.
Right.
I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but it's, you know.
No, sorry, I misunderstood. I was just thinking, like, do I have to experience joy? In order to experience joy, do I have to experience sadness? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm sorry.
You wouldn't have known joy if you didn't have sadness. You would never even know the difference, because it's like, well, you wouldn't have, yeah. How could you differentiate? You know what I mean?
There would be no sense of loss.
Bob, wouldn't it be fair to say that happiness has no opposites?
Yeah. Well, that's the same applies with everything. It's two ends of the one stick. Two sides of the one coin. We divided them and divided, and that's when we get the problem.
It says in the I Ching Ming, you pick one. If you pick either one, you give your attention to either one, then you're gone. If you let yourself be drawn to either end of that stick, then then your attention is being pulled one way or the other. But if you just, like you always say, that uncaused joy is when you just have in there that presence. You're in that moment, presently aware, and you're not being drawn in either direction.
There couldn't be one without the other. We've got to recognize, just need to recognize. If one's showing more than the other side, leave it as it is. And it'll change just like day and night. Earth roll around the sun. The earth doesn't know anything about the sun, neither does the sun know anything about the earth. This end's facing towards the sun now, so it's light. It keeps rolling around. And the other end will come up, and this end will be dark. Same with the thoughts. We fixate on one trying to get rid of the other. Just recognize it, leave it as it is.
Bob, would you say that's like when you went through, I mean, I know this is going back into the past, but also, I mean, when you went through periods where you were affected by externals, where you had strong feelings or anger or reactions, but you were still, this teaching was still a part of your life. Like, do you remember what that was like and how that unfolded? Like,
it wasn't too good, I can tell you that.
Did you say it wasn't too good?
Yeah. But as it went on, it got less and less concerned with it. Because you know it's all, you know, something you can be aware of
Hold on.
is objective. And we know the objective, they become the story. So take all the objects out of the story, where does that leave you? Present and aware. We load on, as we load the objects onto the story, and then we've got this conceptual image. Become very painful, fearful, anxious.
But, and you did, I mean, once you were exposed to, like, connected with Nisargadatta and became involved in whatever this is, you had rocky periods though, right? You had periods where, you know, strong feelings would come and so forth. I mean, I'm assuming, right? You
Yes.
did, yeah.
It goes on the same way. The pairs of opposites would come up.
Yeah.
But the energy of belief couldn't go into them to the extent it did after a while.
Yeah.
The seeing through it in the first place for the meeting, that I wasn't the body, I wasn't the mind, I wasn't this person. And I said there and then, I'll never be caught in the mind again, but I walked out the door and I was.
Yeah.
But the more time, but after a while, you know, but hang on a minute, you've seen through this, have another look. Go back and look again and see that it wasn't true. And the more you went back and into it and saw that it wasn't true, the less and less hold it has on you.
Yeah.
So it's kind
So
of
it's
like
not that. So it's
I'm
not that
sorry.
you're trying to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not. It's not that you're trying. Like you've had this experience where you've had this. I think we've all had this experience where you resonate with this. You feel you feel that you have undoubtedly here I am in this present moment. You have that realization. You don't say that necessarily those words, but you have that sense where everything sort of stops. Right? And then you see what that is. It's not that you're trying to repeat that experience, but you become aware of what that is. That awareness begins to take a hold of you, and it sort of operates in the background. And you see it when you see these things happen. You begin to have, this is something else I've read in Nisargadatta. He talks about viveka, which is the word discrimination. So I think that means you begin to discriminate between what's true and what's false, and you begin to see those things as false. And when you see those things, you begin to recognize those falsehoods when they come up. You begin to recognize them faster. Does that make sense?
And once you see something as false, you can never truly believe it again.
Right. So it comes up again, but you don't get stuck in it so much because you see it more quickly for what it is.
But Bob, you're talking about also not the you, Sailor Bob, doing that. You're speaking about the life energy itself, right? Life intelligence itself starts to take over in a certain way.
Right.
Isn't it you getting it right? Because that's
of course, yeah. Yeah, of course. It's just that but that awareness is there all the time, right? It's just that like Bob says, the sun blocks the clouds block the sun, but the sun is still there. Yeah. But something happens, but nothing happens, I guess. You can't make it happen. In other words, it's there. It's just whether that, I don't know how to say it, whether that awareness takes hold of you or not. How can you say you can't? There's nothing you can say. I can't say I put my attention on it. I can't say I did this or I did that. I can't say that I chose to wipe those clouds away. But that's what can you say about it? It's just there all the time.
That's a perfect spot, Keith, when you stump the panel where the words.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What more can you say about it? I mean, you can't say I did anything about it. That was my question about the attention. What is attention? Is attention? Do I pull something up out of myself and go, hey, I'm going to remember to do this every time this happens. I'm going to remember to go back to being aware. I mean, that's kind of funny, right? You can't do that, right?
But Bob, would it be safe to say that attention is also like devotion?
Yeah, attention is like the reality again. You can't be attentive.
Right.
You can only recognize your inattention.
There you go.
And that would be from the point of it.
There you go. Right on. That's good.
So there, Bob, there's presence awareness. There's presence of awareness and awareness of presence.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's, I think, that's really important. At least I've found that to be very important, the presence of awareness and awareness of presence.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think Elena had asked in the beginning, I was at these moments as well. And a couple of years ago, I called Bob about it, and he said, "These are just thoughts." And I was clinging onto a thought that it used to be a certain way, and that was a thought. And then there were thoughts of, I want to go back there, and that was a thought. And then there was this energy of belief given to all of that, and it just became this huge thing. And then when I spoke with Bob, it just like fell away, and it seems kind of silly that all these thoughts kind of built up on each other, and they were just thoughts. Nothing was actually happening. It was all just, I don't know, speaking to you helped, Bob.
Yeah. Nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea that I had gotten it was a thought. The idea I don't have it is a thought. The
Right.
idea that, oh no, it's gone is a thought. These are just thoughts that are happening right now. And as soon as we give them energy of belief, then this whole conceptual world spins up.
Right. That's it.
So,
The energy of belief goes in.
yeah.
But not before morning coffee.
Even before morning coffee, it can start. You roll out of, you open your eyes, and there it is. You know,
I'm crashing down.
Open your eyes, actually, you could just wake up and you're like, oh yeah, now I got up, and then the whole thing starts again. I was thinking about something you were commenting on earlier, Maureen.
Yeah.
This is, sorry. Did you want somebody else want to talk?
Yeah, so quick. What Maureen said, was asking a question that's about the past. I'm wondering if it's a wrong question or a right question, something like that. Because when Bob answered it, it recollects. And who answered that? What would you say that to Bob when you answer that? Is it from the ego? Because it recollects. Because, you know, Maureen was asking a question that's from the past. How would you do back then? How do you feel that? Now, when you answer that, you recollect. Is that recollection part of the ego? Is that an ego? That's just my question.
He said earlier, there is no ego. It's an idea. It's a thought.
Yeah, so
it's more of a processing. There's a believing in a me, a doership. If you want to say if you want to use that word ego and say it's more of a processing, a believing in a me, isn't it, Bob? I mean, you could call it there's a processing of ego, but there is no ego.
But the memory, he's asking about the memory, though. I think just the memory itself, that's just a function of the mind. That's what it does. Like it's like a filing cabinet. It goes yes, no. This one goes there. This one goes there. You know, that memory itself is just a function of the mind.
Yeah, because I was just wondering,
And Ernie, I mean, one of the things that I would say in relationship to that is if you take time out of the equation and say everything that ever was or ever will be is here right now. I mean, the thing that was being asked about or spoken to is that right now, when Bob talks about his state of well-being or equanimity, the me hears that and it has a conceptual idea of what it looks like. It looks like this. Bob says he has a lot of happiness in his life. He has a lot of well-being. It's not the burning hell that it once was. And what the question was attempting was to say that actually making that a goal is again just another form of suffering, that it can look all different ways. Life itself can show up in all different ways, and that it doesn't mean anything. It isn't that you did it right or wrong. I mean, so really, whether it happened to him, 20 years ago or happened to him right now, it wasn't really about time or going back to the past. It was really about our pictures. I mean, I've read stories of people whose me's have dissolved or who have recognized I am that never had any teachings. They never had any ideas about what it looked like. And in some ways, that might be kind of a cool thing, because you don't have some conceptual image of what you imagine you're supposed to be getting, which the me, that's like heroin to the me.
Arnie, this is just what's happening now. It's a conversation with questions and answers. Whether that's a recollection of a true past or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Keith,
go ahead. Go ahead, Aldo.
Oh, okay. Keith reminded me of that sort of analogy with the sun and the clouds. And I think it's a fantastic analogy in it that I think when we go to Bob's meetings, Bob keeps pointing, if I can use that analogy, to the sun. And when we go in there, we're just full of clouds. I mean, that it completely obscures the sun. And all that spiel is about the clouds that obscures the sun. And when those clouds, i.e. the words, what we think we are, all these sort of illusions and stuff like that, once we see if I can still use that analogy, the sun within us that is constantly shining, never stops. You've seen it. You go, oh, right, okay, bang. And everything else is clouds. So that doesn't mean to say that the clouds don't turn up. But because you've seen the sun and you're looking from the sun, or you can do, the clouds dissipate. And once you've seen that you are that presence awareness, you can't forget it. What you choose to do about it, I mean, it's up to yourself, whether you want to hang on to it or completely forget it. It's up to the individual. I've seen the benefits of constantly referring to that presence awareness. I feel things that happen in my life is a lot less. I'm a lot less affected by it. Whereas in the past, I'd buy into things, and I'm talking about both joy and sadness. So I think that's the whole point, is that once you've seen that you are the presence awareness,
then that's it. That's it.
You recognize it.
That's it. Done.
You recognize it, but you
That's
can't
right.
describe it in any way. You can't say anything about it except that that's it. That I am that. You can say that, but there aren't any words you can say to say what that is. You can say what it isn't, and that's what we do, right? We're talking about all these things that it isn't, but we can't really say what it is except it's I am that. It's like, you know.
As Eldo
So
said,
it's not
there's a
necessarily.
recognition.
Yeah, I think there's only yeah. Sorry about.
You move back into that recognition more and
Recognize, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
it's a cognizing emptiness. And emptiness is form. And the forms can be nothing other than the empty.
If I can use another analogy, sorry about those. It's like a treadmill. You know, probably most of you people there have used a treadmill, and you can walk and you can run and all that sort of stuff. And on the side of the treadmill, there are these runners. And then once you've had enough, you just step onto the runners. And but the treadmill's still going. But you have a sort of relief. And I think that's the same with this presence awareness. Life is going on in front of you all the time. And when it gets too much, you just step onto the rails. Or just become aware of your own presence. No? I know there are analogies. I know. But, you know, if you've been on a treadmill and, you know, you're either walking or you're running, once you step onto the rails, you get this sense of relief. And I think it's the same when life's throwing stuff at you, good or bad. You fall back into this presence awareness and everything subsides. Sense of relief.
Good.
Yeah. Just you see the treadmill is false. You see the falseness of it. You've seen the falseness of taking part in treadmilling.
Well, you have to. Treadmilling is life, right? But life is constantly flowing.
Yeah, everything, all these things are arising. Yes, everything, all this stuff is arising. It's happening in your life. It's arising it's arising in front of you. Yes, and you can see it for what it is or not. But who's going to? Again, we're back to that. Who's seeing it? We're back to that question of who is seeing it, and are they choosing? Are you choosing to see it, or you just recognize? You have a moment of recognition when you see. Oh, wait a minute. You know.
Well, the thing is, we're all fortunate in as much that we've seen the sun or the presence awareness. Thanks to Bob, who constantly points to it, we've seen it. And we've got access to it. Whereas some people just see clouds. And they see happy clouds and they see sad clouds, but no sun. Right?
I guess it goes back to what Keith said again, because we live in a very conceptual world. Like now we introduce, I mean, as we are in this religious kind of a path. Like we introduce awareness, attention. How is this like of course, there's so much concept. Like, is this a concept to me, or is this really an actuality to me? But now when I'm asking, how do I get this? Then the mind plays the trick again, because I go back to that. And then Keith saying there's only happening. Like, because, you know, it's just a concept. And then Bob said, yeah, you recognize. There's some, I don't know, there's some, when Carl Hoffman said, these two just passed, the brain stops. To me, I was listening to him when he said that, but there was no I in it that says, "Oh, I stopped." The action comes first. I don't know, recollecting it. Like, there was an action, and then there was a thinking after. So I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there's
That's
the
right.
mind.
It doesn't
The
say
mind trick.
this too shall pass for you. No.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is, what's wrong with right now is the concept. No, hang on.
You're right. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, what's wrong with right now is, if you don't think about it, is a conceptual antidote, right? But when you rest in presence awareness, and that can be done in a few ways. Pausing is one sense. Resting in the listening, resting in the seeing, just watching yourself see. Like, presently now, I'm aware that I'm wearing glasses because I can see them by resting in the seeing. When you rest in those, what you're not doing is entertaining thoughts. And when you're not entertaining thoughts, then all there is presence awareness, because the thought takes away a lot of your attention. Because you're focused on those thoughts. And as Bob used to say, lovely expression, let it go to the keeper. For those that don't know, that's a cricketing term. It could be a baseball term as well, where the pitcher throws the ball and the batter can see that that ball is worthless. He's not going to be able to hit it, and the keeper is the fellow at the back who catches the ball. So when you see these thoughts come through, and it's not applicable to the present moment. Like, it's not telling you how to make a cup of tea or drive the car. Then you let it go to the keeper. Another expression is thoughts come in, but don't serve them a cup of tea.
But so the thing, how do you observe it? Are you observing it from the outside or from the inside? You can't, because if you're, how do you look at yourself? Do you look at yourself from the outside, or are you that itself?
Well, look, the thing,
because if you separate, when you say about, like, there's only recognition, when I like recognize, there's no one like I recognize, oh, that's it. There's only recognition. So this, I don't know, you can't really, I don't know, I feel like you can't separate from yourself from, like, if you experience like that, like fear, I can't see it from the vantage point of outside. I am fear, kind of.
You feel like you become it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Look.
The energy of fear.
Fearful things happen. Like, they just happen, and they come and go. And sometimes it's quite a ride, particularly when you're watching it. Woo! You know what I mean? But, this inside and outside thing, I'm on my, thoughts. Because thoughts are sound waves, right? And these are what perceived sound waves. we think the thoughts are happening in here, you know, between the ears. That's where we think they are. But I'm not so sure. Ernie, what's going on, mate?
I don't know. I can't like when I am like then I can't when there's happening something like yeah, you can say there's no duality. You can't really separate and watch it from the outside, because if you see that there's duality, because
Outside, inside is duality, right?
hey,
Outside, inside is duality right there.
yeah,
Right, absolutely.
because the one that's seeing it is actually made by the mind. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's not. The thing that's seeing is independent of the mind.
Yeah, but it assess. You know what I mean? It assess. Like
Yeah, the mind judges what you see. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, because when one sees, I don't know, you see, when you see it outside, the entity that's watching outside, it assesses the whole situation. There's nothing wrong. It's okay. But when you are one with it, it's different. I can't. I don't know.
Yeah. We've experienced it. Yeah, that's right. Can I ask you, Ernie, have you seen the sun?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Sorry?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I said, have you, in my analogy, have you seen the sun? Have you seen your presence awareness? Like when you pause.
There, you say that's the thing, because I can't. It would be false if I say I've seen it. You know what I mean? Because I can't really say
So
it.
you don't know whether you have or you haven't.
No, because it's either you be in it. I don't know.
Well, look. You know, here's the thing. Have you experienced no thought? You know, where there's no thoughts in the mind. Have you experienced that?
You see, when I answer that question, yeah, I've seen, yeah, I've no experience, but so it's
No
not really
thought.
that. It was not really from that thing. It's yeah, it's the mind that's saying that I've experienced it. It's the brain. But again, there's this happening, as what Keith said again.
Well,
when I say like yeah. Anyway, words. I think it's just a word. It's just a communication. Sometimes we're conditioned by linguistically, like the brain is so conditioned to it's groove in the like yeah. But yeah, there is only happening. I think what Keith said, or what there is just right now. What Bob said.
So what's happening right now? Seeing is happening. See, we overlook that. We overlook, you know, seeing is happening, hearing is happening, smelling. Those five senses are happening whether you think or not. Whether you're thinking or not. When you go to sleep, you're not thinking. But you see, poor Ernie. Look, it'll come, mate. It'll come. It'll come. Yeah.
To say that it will come is hope, and hope is false. Hope is about becoming, is not being.
Oh, sorry, Ernie.
It's about
You're
rejection of
hopeless.
what is.
So can you let it not come?
You don't let it, or you don't let,
Or don't
you
not let it?
don't- you
I don't know.
don't
We're
let it.
using words. What can I do?
Yeah.
Who would do that?
Oh, so nasty.
It's a teaching, like that kind of language is a teaching.
Yeah, but it's
And-
all
What
pointing.
kind of language?
And this isn't a teaching. Yeah.
What kind
It
of
will
language?
come. It will come anything about strategies like that kind of.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And
right.
I have it, and I'm going to impart it to you. I mean, it's all just what's going on, but yeah.
Right.
Why aren't we learning anything? Why is that?
Who cares? No.
No, well,
Sorry.
Learning is of the mind, is about creating more concepts on top of concepts.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's learning it? Who's learning something?
This is about a resonance.
Recognition.
It's all energy.
Yeah, what came to my mind earlier is something that Maureen was talking about a little bit, or maybe somebody did. I'm just kind of coming up with it. When we have, Ernie, these feelings and thoughts of resistance or whatever, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to talk this. That I don't want to teach. Okay, I don't want to teach, but I just want to say that it's been helpful to see it all as an opportunity. To see that if that's what's showing up in this moment, every time it's seen through, it's not seen as much. You know what I mean? It's not bought into as much.
But everything we say positive, it's a hope for something better, something we want to become.
Say that again.
Right.
Everything we say, every positive state we wish for, it's a rejection of what is right now.
It's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap that you can fall into.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can remember, when I was at Bob's meeting, I wanted to understand. Like, I desperately wanted to understand what Bob was talking about. So, I mean.
And the mind can't understand. Because we live in what we perceive as a dual world.
Well,
right?
Okay. So
once the analogy of dreaming.
Okay, once you've seen that you are the presence awareness. I mean,
there's a rest and the knowing that the sun is always there, but clouds come and go, and there's nothing.
But what registers that? Does the mind register that?
No, it's the awareness that is ever present.
All right. Okay. Well,
and the mind.
The thing is this. Then the mind is just an explanation of how we remember.
But you're talking about the small m mind, your mind, something that you possess?
Well, you can't remember the stuff I remember. Can you? Like they talk about the one mind, but unfortunately,
I can't, but there are people that can actually.
Say again?
There are people that can actually. It's about the capacity of the individual mind of not being able to, but that doesn't mean that our minds are not connected.
And,
Doesn't
and
mean
it
that
depends
there's a
whether,
separation betwin our minds.
Well,
and
here's
it depends on whether you're talking about memories, like memories, or whether you're talking about recognition. That's I think that's different. The recognition, you know, who can say anything? Again, I said it already. Who can say anything about that recognition? When you have a recognition, you can't say anything about it, and you can't remember it because it's always right now in this moment. It's
right.
it's always in this moment. And how can you remember it when it's always is?
Well, I'm looking at you, Keith, and I'm distinguishing you from the building behind you. All right. See, so I'm going, well, Keith is that thing with the black shirt and the headphones, and the building is the building behind you, right? And there's two different things. Yeah. So I've created a vision.
Of the senses of the body.
Yeah.
But are the body?
Well, I'm trying to get to a point. So I've created a division. I've said, well, Keith is what I've just described, and the building is what's behind you. Yeah. So, in reference to the mind, right? We call this thing the ability to remember. Yeah. And we attribute that to the mind. We say, well, the mind has the ability to remember. And recognition, you know, we can put it in the same package. The mind
Is
has.
that the truth? Some minds remember, some
is
minds don't.
Is it true? Is it true that the building
If it's changing,
is
then it's not true. True has to be absolute, right? To be true. Truth.
Truth is that which never changes.
Yes.
End of story.
But Keith, if he moved away from the building, your whole assumption that he's that distinct thing from the building.
No, because something else other than the building, right, would hold his silhouette. See, so anyway, the point I'm
Keith may be gaining weight, losing weight,
hold on a second now.
You know, looking younger, you know, he decides to shave his beard, and so it's not.
Is it true if he shaved his beard, he'd look younger?
I could go shave and we could see. I could go shave my face and we could try it out.
We have to keep
Have we got time for that?
Play with Keith and see what happens.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
2 minutes left, folks, but it's been fun. It's been a lively discussion.
Next week we want mustache, Keith.
Ernie, just remember, you are the sun.
Yeah, I think, yeah, thanks. Although it's not trying to say like,
body.
yeah, it's trying to separate. You can be like, he remembers. Can you remember my remember? Yeah. Then Angie said, "Can you remember?" He's trying to say, like, seeing Keith in the back of the building. There is an I to it, but what Angie's saying is there was just happening. Like, it's the same thing as what guy, I think from the book, from the story of Ramana Maharshi. One guy coming from Europe, he wants to see Ramana Maharshi. In truth, when he said this, "I come here to see you," in truth, he's not really saying, "I come here." The body at the train station brings him there, or something like that. I went there. So what you're trying to say, Aldo, like I, as opposed to Angie's brain, but it's not I. It's there's a seeing. The eye sees, the hearing hears. You know what I mean? But we always attribute it to the I, and that's, I think we become victim of the language itself. Language uses us, not us using the language, so to speak. I don't know.
You see, in the beginning, language is really important because we're using the language in order to point to the sun. See, so we're really careful
use your
about
finger.
we're really careful about how we use the language, because we're using the language to point to this presence awareness. But once you've seen the presence awareness, it doesn't matter anymore whether you say I, me, him. You know, it doesn't matter because we're no longer using the language as a tool.
The language is always of the two.
Huh? Sorry, what was that?
Language is always of the two. There's no way around it. Non-duality is a concept.
No, no, true. That's right, true. But I mean, if I say I'm going to make a cup of tea, who's going
And
to
the
jump
only
up and
thing
say,
left is the laughter, right?
you know, like you just can't attack somebody because they're saying I.
No,
No.
it's
Maybe in a
not
satsang,
it's
maybe you
just
could.
a pointing.
Well, in the Hebraic tradition, there is only I am, or in the Judaic or in the Muslim Islam, there is only I. So you can't say making coffee or I am. There's just I am that.
No, well, you know, you still got to live, right? You still walk through life with an identity, but you know that you're the presence awareness. Like you're not, if once you've seen the sun or
Who's
presence
losing?
awareness,
What does that mean anyway?
you're not
There's
going
not
to. You're not going to lose your name. People are still going to call you Ernie.
I don't know. I changed my name. I used to be Julia Pegler. That said, we're gonna have to wrap things up. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're going over time, and I have to.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks,
Does that
Julia.
give you a bit
Thank
of
you,
a
Julia.
Julia.
Carl,
Thank you, everyone.
Bill,
Thank you,
Aldo,
Bob.
Thanks,
Ernie.
Carl.
See you next week. Oh,
Ivan.
next week we change our clocks, I think, in Australia, folks.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yeah.
yeah, next week. Yeah, I think that's this coming week, next week. So it may be a different time. Keep an eye on the website, okay?
Great.
All right.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, everyone.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Love.